I, Habibullah E Hakim, came in contact with Baba in the year 1946 or 47. At the moment I am talking from Madras, where I am working at the Theosophical Society as a Public Relations and Information Officer. It was in connection with my work of Sufism, for which I was writing a thesis for PhD on the saints of India, that I corresponded with various Sufi centers and people interested in Sufism. Consequently, I wrote a letter to Hazrat Meher Baba also, and I found a letter from a person written whom I did not know. It was Dr. Abdul Ghani Munsif. I did not know Abdul Ghani Munsif personally, but later on, when I was in Pune, one day I was passing through a street and a friend told me that Dr. Abdul Ghani is here convalescing and he would be very happy to meet me. Then I met Dr. Ghani. He was very pleased to see me. We discussed many problems of Sufism along with him, and I was very benefited by his contact. Later on, I knew that he was a very close devotee of Hazrat Meher Baba. I told him to give us some talks in the Theosophical Lodge as well. So he came to the Theosophical Lodge, and when he came and described his experiences about Baba and his contact with him, we were all very much interested in Baba's activities. After that, we all decided to go to Meherabad one day and meet Baba personally. About 50 of us gathered together. We took a state transport bus and we went to Meherabad. When we went there, we were received very nicely by the companions of Meher Baba. We had nice lunch and all of us received very nicely by the companions of Meher Baba. We had nice lunch and all of us enjoyed our stay in Meherabad. In the afternoon at about 3 o'clock, a message came from Baba whether we would like to have a collective interview or an individual interview. All of us thought that in a collective interview he will simply sit and we shall just receive his blessings and all disperse. But later on we told him that we would have individual interviews. My personal experience now I will describe to you. When I was asked what you should do, I also desired that I should have a personal interview. I was taken in. On one side of Baba, Dr. Ghani was sitting. On the other side, it was Mr. Ramju Seth. He had that board on which ABC were written, and the questions began. Dr. Ghani told Baba that he is Mr. Hakim and a very learned man, holding many degrees also. A question came from Baba. The first question that he asked me was, what is the sum and substance of all that you have learnt? Well, it was a difficult question, but I replied it in that way. I told him that the sum and substance of all that I have learnt is that the reality is one. Baba became very much pleased and he made some sign. Later on, another question came. Have you realized that reality? I told him that intellectually I have, but spiritually I am not sure whether I have realized it or not. The Baba said, do you want to realize that reality? I say, yes. Then another reply came from Baba. Are you ready to renounce everything that you have to realize that reality? Well, I had to think about it, and then I replied to him that I am ready to accept anything, to the extent to which I can. Baba was taken aback, and he just turned his hand, to the throat and looked at Ghani, telling that boy that people are ready to, sacrifice their whole life for the realization of reality, while he is saying to the extent to which he can. Well, then Dr. Ghani told him that he is a government servant, he has got a family, and he has got so many liabilities, and it will not be possible for him to give up everything that he has. Well, then Baba has told me another thing. Will you be able to follow the instructions that we give you from time to time? I say yes, to the extent to which I can. And then he was very much pleased. And then we all dispersed and we went back to Pune. This was my first interview with Meher Baba. Later on, when we were in Pune, Baba was very much interested in Sufism. And Dr. Ghani formed a Sufi society, of which I was also a secretary and Dr. Ghani was a president. We used to arrange many lectures. We used to have some outings. We used to have some poetic assemblies called the Mushairas. And there were so many discussions about the discourses of Baba. We had lectures by Dr. Ghani about Baba and his mission. We had, some bhajan mandalis, what we call the musical assemblies, in which songs about Baba were being sung. And thus we were passing a very nice time, under the patronage of Baba, and we used to receive his letters and also letters from Adi, and that was a nice, occasion which we passed. But in the year 1950, I was transferred to Pune, Bombay. And in Bombay, I had no contact with Baba. In Bombay, I simply corresponded with Adi and Dr. Ghani, but to my great, disappointment, Dr. Ghani passed away in the year 1950. And so my contact with the Pune group, was stopped. Anyway, I was writing to Mr. Adi Irani, and I was getting some magazines like The Awakener and other circulars of Meher Baba about the observation of silence and fast on the 10th or 11th of July and such other things, and I used to carry out the instructions. But being in the touring duty, it was not possible for me to carry on the instructions all the time. Anyway, I was in contact. But after going to Gujarat, it was not possible for me to have much contact with him. There was one Dr. Bharucha from Navsari. He came to me to Porbandar, where I was the principal of a college, and we had a good function. There was Mr. Soni, who gave nice musical discourses. Like this, occasionally, I used to have some, functions about Baba and his mission. Well, after that, he expired, and I had not much contact with him, till I came to Madras, and I had some discussions, and I knew about Meher Baba Center in Madras when I met Mr. Ramajunjam. And that was my last contact with Baba.